Okay, even though medial tibial stress syndrome, we have the symptoms here, we know that we'll address the gastrosoleus from a soft tissue point of view to deload. But what often also gets missed here is our tibialis anterior and our extensor digitorum longus. So these are the opposing muscle to those. So it's all about balancing as many of these compartments in this area as we can. So we've got our medial compartment, we've got the posterior compartment, and then obviously we've got the anterolateral compartment. So this is highly important for us to do. I'm just going to show you a couple of really quick soft tissue techniques to do. If you can, get your client absolutely 100% to point their toes, because we want to lengthen off this tissue as much as we can, because that's what we tend to see. Okay, once again, I can come in just with a really broad approach here using 3 fingers. So I'm going to come nestle myself right up against the tibialis anterior here, and we're going to work just along the length of that tibialis anterior, following the tibia all the way up. And then we'll come to the top here, and it's in this area here where there's a trigger point. Okay, so this is an area where we can focus on and work. But first we want to just address the tone through this muscle. So that means doing a good 3 to 4 minutes or even 5 minutes through this muscle while it's in a stretch position. Okay, and then we can divert over into extensor digitorum longus and work through that as well. Okay. Now keep in mind we do have these trigger points at the top, so we will and can address those trigger points, but at the moment all we're doing is addressing the load. Okay. So as I said, anywhere to 2, 3, even 5 minutes through these muscles. It should be more than sufficient. Come out a little bit further, then we pick up tertius, perineal tertius. Small little muscle through the front of the ankle. We want to clear that out as well. Got a hot little trigger point in there as well. If we come out a little bit more lateral, then we can pick up brevis, the perineal brevis. And then if we come up a little bit further, then we've got perineal longus as well. Okay, so we've got quite a lot of tissue there to address. Sometimes you can get in here and pick up a bulk of it just with a really broad forearm as well, okay, and make a massive impact by just picking up a lot of the anterior anterolateral structures through here. And you can sink over a little bit more anterior, pick up tib anterior, extensor dig, or even the perineals just by moving your forearm around. Now, as we get up to the top, this is where we find the trigger point for tibialis anterior. So it's just up into this area here. So we can just nestle in there and then just sit and wait for that to just dissipate. Okay, and we all know the protocols for that. Just sitting, not pushing too hard, just enough to let everything just blend and slowly dissipate. Working back into that tissue like so. Okay, so that's the anterolateral. So remember, tibialis anterior, we've got extensor digitorum longus, we've got the perineal muscles, we've got longus, brevis and tertius here. Absolutely 100% have to address these.